Instagram and to Mark Zuckerberg, you are nothing more than a line of code. How many of you think that you need to manage your time? You're all wrong. You need to manage your... We are also caught up in these smaller dreams that we create for ourselves. हम लोग कुछ बड़ा सोच ही नहीं पाते हैं. Find people who are climbing mountains and then climb together with them. 15, 16, 17. I am 22 today, but I was 18 4 years ago. If I could go back, this is exactly what I would do in 2024. Hi everyone, I'm Ishan Sharma and this video is super important. Watch till the end, take notes, and I wish you all the best. Ishan Sharma! I am 22, but if I could go back in time and be an 18-year-old again, this is what I would do. Ready? Okay, keep your notes out. Okay, the most important thing that I want you to understand even before we do anything is to realize that you will have to build systems and just focus on building systems, right? Don't do anything else. Like it's very easy for you to have a dream कि अच्छा मुझे ये करना है, मुझे मेरे पेरेंट्स के लिए घर खरीदना है, मुझे मेरे पेरेंट्स के लिए कार खरीदनी है, right? So you have all of these dreams that you want to accomplish, but you don't have the systems that will get you there. And the biggest mistake I made when I was 18 is to just have dreams and no plan to get to those dreams. So I would always struggle because, you know, when I got into college, I had this dream that I will be the guy who gets 10 CGPA and change my branch. There's always that guy, right? You all would have related with that. What I got in reality was 6 CGPA and a reality check because I did not have a system that would get me to the dreams that I want to get it to. So that is what happened, right? I could not get what I wanted because I did not set up the systems that would get me there. Alright. So the part 1, there will be 5 things in this talk. 5 things which we'll be talking about. The first one is all about goal setting and how do you achieve those goals. It's a very simple scientific method. There is no hit and trial. It's very simple, mathematical. Take your notes, take photos while you can. So it's all about this thing called as pyramid of clarity. It's a system created by Asana. It's a company which helps you to manage companies and all. So what happens here is pyramid of clarity is a very simple system that will help you to create goals and actually achieve them step by step. And it starts with this 4-part pyramid. Okay, let's explore this one by one. So this 4-part pyramid, first of all, starts with a mission. Like, what's your why? Why are you here? Simon Sinek wrote this book called as Start With Why, and it talks about what is your mission. So you need to have that first thing cleared out. It doesn't have to be some grand mission ki I want to build rockets that will take me to Mars. It could be a very simple mission that I want to get into Google. Simple. It could be a simple mission that I want to get this for my parents, or I want to buy this or buy that. It could be a very simple selfish mission as well. You don't have to make it some grand mission that you're working towards, although that would not hurt. So that is your mission, that is your why, that is what you will be working towards every single day. It's very important to have this because then if you don't have it, you would just be running for things that don't really matter to you as much, right? You would just be trapped in the everyday thinking that you saw some reel, you saw some idea, so you start working on that and you get distracted all the time, right? You might have seen those videos which talk about side hustle ideas, business ideas. I make them as well. But you have to understand that most of those videos are just ideas. You have to align that with your mission. So depending on that mission, you should think if you should go ahead with that or not. That is really important. What is your mission? Find that. That is the first thing. The next part is to have a 1-year goal. And I'll give you an example that will make it very clear, but having a 1-year goal that you're working towards is really important. For me, that 1-year goal is to make $1 million in my agency. To make $1 million in my agency. Now that might seem like a very big goal. That might seem like a huge number. It seemed like that to me as well. But when I used this method, I was able to accomplish a system that would get me there. Right? I still don't know if I'll be able to reach that, but that is what I want to get to. So that is a 1 year goal. You have to decide what your one year goal is. Maybe if you're preparing for a software engineering job, it could just be as simple as learning about MERN stack, learning to become a full stack developer, or it could just be learning about the basics of graphic design, or it could be the learning about the basics of SEO, about advertising. It could be learning about content marketing, content strategy. It could be anything. But just have this 1 year goal that by the end of the year, I want to learn this. I want to achieve this. That is the second part. And there are two versions of it. When you create these goals, you need to have the best possible case and the worst possible case that you want to achieve in this 1 year goal. The best possible case is that I make $1 million at my agency. The worst goal that I want to hit, कि इतना तो करना ही है, कुछ भी हो जाए, is to hit $500,000. So we have that baseline set, कि if this happens, I am happy, but if we could hit $1 million, I would have an orgasm. Right? Okay, I hope you get the idea. So that is the worst and the best goal that you have to create for the 1 year time frame. Let's keep going. Then you have three things. To reach this 1 year goal, you have to figure out about the money, about the people, and about the product. About whatever you are doing, right? Who are the people that will get you to that mission? What is the finances going to look like that will get you to that mission? And what would you be selling, or what would you earn? What skill will you learn which would help you get there? And at the end, it's a monthly review. So every single month, you would review what you've done and have you achieved that mission or not. So you've broken everything down to smaller chunks so that it is more, you can understand it better, right? I'll give you an example. So at Marketer, the top mission that we have is to help brands grow, right? We're a marketing agency, we help brands grow. That is the first mission that we have. The 1 year goal is to make $1 million, as I've just said. The best case scenario is 1 million. The worst case scenario is that we make $500,000. That is the goal. The third thing is the money. So what do we need to do to reach that $1 million goal? So we ran some combinations, and we got to this idea that if we can have 15 clients who pay us $6,000 per month, we'll touch $1 million. That's it. Right? So now while you were having that 8 crore figure, कि मुझे इतना कमाना है, we have gotten down to a smaller number of $6,000 per month, which looks more digestible. Right? So now you can imagine yourself doing this. So now we just need 15 clients who can pay us $6,000 per month. Okay, that is the money part of it. Now let's talk about the people. Who are the people and how many people do you need that will get you to that goal? That is a number for us which is 25. We just need 25 people who can create the work and do the operations required to help us reach that number. Simple. Make sense? That is just what we've created. And at the end, what do we sell? What do you want to sell? It could be anything. It could be your skill of software development. It could be your skill of logo design. It could be your skill of UI UX design. It could be anything. It could be you teaching. It could be you having a skill of product management. Right? So it could be anything, as long as you have one product to focus on. For us, that is YouTube management. So we sell YouTube content strategy to brands. We aim to make $1 million, the best case scenario, and for that we'll have to do 15 clients who give us $6,000 per month. Simple. So now we've broken our goal down to more digestible formats, and then we do monthly reviews. So what do we have to do every single month to achieve this number? If we want to acquire, let's just say, one new client, how many people will we have to pitch? How many leads will we have to generate? Is the question that we are now able to have. So we are basically sort of reverse engineering everything from the goal that we had to what we need to do to achieve that goal every single day. So that looks like lead gen to us. So we would generating leads, right? Do you know what lead gen means? Lead gen. So it's basically the idea of reaching out to clients, reaching out to companies, and getting a meeting with them. So now you have a lead. Now you have a prospective client who might want your service, a potential client. You would pitch to them, you would do a call with them, and if they're interested, they will say yes. Right? So that is your lead gen. So that is what happens with MarketUp, but you can deploy this in your system as well, very simply, like I've just shown you. Just have your main mission that drives you every single day. Then you have a 1-year goal. Then you focus on the money, the people, and the product or the skill that you are learning. And at the end, focus on monthly reviews. What do you have to do every month to get to the goal that you want to achieve? Make sense? Alright, that was the first part. If you want to take a screenshot of this, you can do that. This is a very simple system that will help you get things done in your life. Okay, how many of you were expecting कि यहाँ पे कुछ motivation वाली बातें होंगी and all? You were expecting that? यार, I've done these speeches so many times. मैं इतनी बार सेम चीज़ बोल चुका हूँ. I want to do something different, something which actually makes a difference in your life. आप वो वीडियोस देख सकते हो YouTube पे, बट वहाँ पे आपको practical steps नहीं बताए जाते हैं, right? So I just wanted to give that as much as possible. And this is literally how you can do what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Okay, let's keep going. That was the first part. Second part is the essentials. So there are just 3 things. Life is very simple. We make it complicated. There are just 3 things that you need to focus on if you want to level up as an 18-year-old starting out in your career. Just 3 things. And I will show you in a very simple matrix format how those 3 things impact you and what you can achieve. Okay. The first thing is fitness. How many of you hit the gym? How many of you go to the gym? Very few. I want a volunteer. Anyone raise your hand? I want a volunteer. I promise you, it'll be a fun thing. Fun activity. Someone? Okay, yes. What's your name? Samarth. Alright. We will be coming to you in some time. So, fitness. I just don't want you to chicken out at the last moment, right? So, I'm coming back to you. It's all about mental toughness. I started gymming about 1 year ago, and it has been the most rewarding thing that I've done. It's not about the muscles you build, it's not about the curves that you get, it's all about how it impacts your mind. It trains your mind to do hard things. And that is the most important thing. Don't get fooled by watching videos of gym, bros on Instagram who show you that you need to look like this and only then you are succeeding in gym, right? People have different definitions for what they think of success, right? So the basic thing that it gives you is this confidence in your own self, that if you can stay consistent with hitting the gym, then you can achieve bigger things in life. Very important in your college time. So anyways, I was talking about how you share your progress, what you're eating every single day. You hit the gym, you do the cardio, and you're tracking your progress every single weekend, so that you can see how it has impacted you, and drink a lot of water. That's it. So do this 10-week fix, and you will see huge changes in just your face. You'll see that your face looks sharper. It looks bright, right? Like there's this glow on your face which comes when you avoid having sugar, when you avoid having junk food, when you sleep properly, and when you take care of having enough water every single day. It's the easiest way to look 2x more attractive, I think. And attractiveness plays a huge role, right? It plays a huge role in what opportunities you'll get, how much you will get paid, and it is really important. And I'll give you more reasons why. So as I said, no sugar, no junk, try it out for some time and you'll see the benefits of it. I know, I've been in college, I've been the guy who goes and has those aloo parathas in the middle of the day and then feels sleepy and then so jata tha main. And I was just having a very random routine, right? I would just be doing anything at any time of the day. And that impacts what you can do. That impacts your energy level. We'll come to that as well in some time. So, no sugar, no junk, and cardio plus gym. And I just saw very few people hit the gym. In fact, there was some stat which said that less than 0.1% people in India hit the gym. Right? ऐसा कुछ stat था. I was hearing it from Nikhil Kamath. He was talking about that in some podcast. Anyways, yes, this is a very simple push-pull legs. Do you guys know about this? All the gym bros would know, right? This is a very simple push-pull legs routine that you can follow. You can click a picture of this. A friend of mine gave this to me and he wanted to talk to me. He was very shy. He don't know how to start a conversation. I was going to the gym and he was like, bro, I made this plan for you. I was like, epic. What's your name? And that's how we became friends. And I know him for 2 years now. So, anyways, this is what you should be doing every single day. Of course, take a rest day as well. But when you do that, you become mentally tougher. And I'll give you an example. Let's do this activity. What was your name again? Samarth. How are you?
I'm fine.
What year are you in?
I'm in IS.
Do you gym?
I left.
You left the gym?
Yeah.
Kya hua? You found a girlfriend? Okay, alright. I want you to do something brave. Can you do something brave?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
I want you to get down and give me 20 push-ups.
Yeah.
यहीं पे. I believe you can do it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Epic. You should get back to the gym. How many of you think you can do 20 push-ups? How many of you think you can do 20 push-ups? Right? See, this is what I'm saying. Good job. You did it. Epic. Most of us are weak. Most of us cannot do 20 push-ups. It's a very basic exercise. Right? It doesn't involve any weights, doesn't involve you to do anything, but it just makes you stronger. Right? Most people are weak. And so, weak people create tough times. Have you read this quote? Right? Weak people create tough times create strong men create good times create weak men. Okay, so it's a very popular quote, and the whole idea is that you need to get mentally and physically tougher. Right? I meet these friends of mine who came from like army colleges and all. They've had that experience, and they are just the most fit people out there. And they like literally motivate me to focus on my fitness a lot more as well. So the best thing you can do, which literally costs you lesser than the pizza that you would order from Pizza Hut or any other place, is to get a gym membership. They told me that there's no gym in this college, but I hope that you would find a gym. Right? So that is really important. Alright, get fit, get strong. That is the first thing that you can focus on. The second one is your mindset. You know, in September of 2020, I had this dream of making 1 lakh per month after getting placed at a job after 4 years. So basically I wanted that in 2024, I would be making 1 lakh per month. That was my dream. I was like, अगर मैंने ये कर लिया, तो मेरी life successful है. Right? That was like the end all be all. And I was just focusing on that. कि यार ये कैसे कर सकते हैं? तो वो सब कुछ cognitive coding, DSA, software development and सारी चीजें मैं कर रहा था focus उस पर. And then what happened is I started freelancing. And when I started freelancing, I started working with companies. I worked with 2 companies, and then I started teaching coding on an academy in that period. And so when that happened, in October of 2020 is when I made my first 1 lakh in 1 month. I could not believe what just happened. I could not believe what I just did. I was like, this is my goal in 2024. What am I doing getting this much money in 2020? Right? It made no sense. And that is when my mind opened up. I was like, if I can do this much at 2020, what can I do in 2024? Right? And so, we are also caught up in these smaller dreams that we create for ourselves. हम लोग कुछ बड़ा सोच ही नहीं पाते हैं. We're just never able to explore what is out there available for us to grab. The opportunities, the people, the financial wealth that we can gain. We're just able to, we're missing out on all of that just because of the mindset that we have that limits us from thinking what we can achieve. I'll give you more examples, right? There's a very popular quote which says that a bird which is in a cage thinks flying is an illness. And that is true to so many us, right? You can find so many of these instances in which we are told कि ये करना है, ऐसा होता है, and you should follow that, right? We just told that this is how things work, and you're supposed to follow this particular path if you want to be happy or if you want to be successful. Right? We've all heard from your parents, right? That 10th में पढ़ाई कर लो, फिर 12th में मजे मजे होंगे, फिर 12th में पढ़ाई कर लो, फिर कॉलेज में मजे मजे होंगे, कॉलेज में आ गए तो कॉलेज में पढ़ रहे हो, and then they're like कि आप जॉब कर लो फिर मजे मजे होंगे, then they say कि शादी कर लो, and that is the typical thing that you've been told. So you have to come out of that mindset of accepting what is told to you. And this is the biggest learning I've had. It's not the skills I've learned, it's not the people I've met, it is just this opening up of mind that happens when you go out there and you explore what is there for you to achieve and take. That's very important, your potential. There's a false ceiling. There's a very interesting experiment that was conducted in which there was this jar in which flies were kept. They were stored in a jar for multiple days. फिर क्या किया, चुपके से उनका जार का जो वो होता है, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, द लिड एग्जैक्टली, द लिड उन्होंने उसको हटा दिया. एंड व्हाट हैपेंड देन इज माइंड ब्लोइंग. दे रियलाइज दैट इवन विदाउट द लिड the flies never came outside because they created that reality for themselves and they accepted that this is all that we can go to. This is the ceiling that you can go to. When in fact there was no ceiling. They removed the lid. But they forgot to go to the edge. And this happens in real world so many times. We're just never exploring the ceiling. We just think that we can do only this much. Well, reality is that what you are thinking, what is your goal, might just be something you could achieve in 1 year from today. And it's very possible. I've literally seen people who have these dreams and when they achieve them, they're like, अब तो मैंने कर लिया, अब क्या करूँ? Right? They're like, what do I do now? What do I do next? And so you have to keep your mind open and you have to dream bigger and use that pyramid of clarity to achieve that. That's very, very important. Me standing in front of you and talking makes no sense. If 2020 वाला ईशान देखेगा ना मेरे को करते हुए, उसकी फट जाएगी. बोलेगा ये क्या हो रहा है? राइट, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? मैं लोगों के सामने जाके बोल रहा हूँ. That is insane. I was never like this. I had this ceiling set for me कि मैं ये नहीं कर सकता. And हम सब में वो होती है ceiling. You have to get outside of that. And that is the mindset you need to have. You need to unlearn a lot of things that you've been taught by people. That ऐसे ही होता है. You have to break that pattern. You have to unlearn before you can learn anything from scratch. That is really important. What else? Seek truth. I have realized that the best way to seek truth is to be alone. Be alone with yourself in boredom. Right? When you are with people, all you see is groupthink, right? Saturday night है, आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ बैठे हुए हो, कोरमंगला पास है, and you all go to Boho, and you have a gala time. So that's all groupthink. Well, maybe there's some skill you want to learn, and that is the only time you have because बाकी time lectures होते हैं. But because you have that groupthink, you're like, अगर मैं मना करूंगा या करूंगी तो फिर वो लोग क्या सोचेंगे, and I'll be that imposter, right? So I don't want to do that. So try to blend in, and because of that, you're just never able to accomplish what you really want. And so you need to seek truth at the end of everything, and you will only be able to seek truth when you are alone, एकांत में. That's very important. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Skills. Let's do that. Let's talk about the skills that you need. And again, I want to keep it very simple, nothing complicated. There's just 3 skills that if you know, you will make disproportionately more amount of money. You would have more confidence in yourself, right? You would have more clarity about what you can do and what you can achieve. The first one is writing. The first one is writing. It seems so simple, right? Writing, how is that a high paying skill? How is that important? Right? ये तो you would have been doing in school जब बोलते थे कि ये चित्र लेखन. You've given a picture and you are supposed to write about it. Right? But writing is so important. You write a cold email, you are talking to your boss, you are pitching a client, you are doing all of that on text before you do a video call. And so it's all about your ability to write with clarity. And while I've just said this, it might seem simple to you, but I get these emails every single day. एक तो पहले तो लोग ईमेल लिखते हैं जब तो आई सॉ दिस वेरी क्रेजी ईमेल टुडे मॉर्निंग इटसेल्फ जहाँ पे जो बंदे को लिखना था सब्जेक्ट उसे सब्जेक्ट में लिख दिया सब कुछ जो एक्चुअल जहाँ पे लिखते वहाँ लिखा ही नहीं एंड आई वाज जस्ट लुकिंग एट लाइक ये क्या हो रहा है लाइक पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड बेसिक राइटिंग पीपल जस्ट मिस दैट कंप्लीटली कुछ लोग लंबे लंबे पैराग्राफ लिख रहे हैं I'm like मैं नहीं पढ़ने वाला ये सब राइट लाइक इफ यू वांट अपॉर्चुनिटीज यू आर नॉट सपोज टू राइट योर एंटायर स्टोरी कि मैं यहाँ से था मेरे माँ के पास पैसे नहीं थे तो हमने ये किया हमारी ये स्ट्रगल थी पीपल डोंट केयर यू हैव टू टॉक अबाउट हु यू आर व्हाई डज द पर्सन नीड टू केयर एंड व्हाट कैन यू ऑफर दैट्स इट हाउ कैन यू बी यूजफुल दैट्स इट let's talk about writing. Copywriting is the thing that you should all learn about, right? You are on the internet all the time. People are looking at reels, they are scrolling reels, you yourself are scrolling reels. And so in this environment where people have low attention span, if you want people to notice you and give you an opportunity, you need to get noticed. And for that, you need to get attention, right? And how will you get attention? You will get attention by effective copywriting. Copywriting क्या होता है? If you've seen ads, right? आपने देखे होंगे. Have you seen ads of Zomato, Blinkit? They always have some quirky line, right? They're talking about something interesting, and that catches your attention. फिर लोग retweet करते हैं, फिर वो trending चला जाता है, and so that is just a very simple example of clever copywriting. And the faster you learn it, the better it will be for your career, right? I can give you numerous examples where just because I did not write something in a good and simple way, I lost money. I lost opportunities just because I was not good at articulating my thoughts about writing properly. So that is really important. How do you write better, right? You have to get into this habit of writing daily. I had this habit of writing my diary entry. So my father got me this diary in the age in 5th grade when I was 12. And I spent the next 7 years writing every single day a page on that diary. What that did was I learned to articulate myself. I learned to have clarity in my thoughts. And that enabled me to write effectively. And so this simple idea of writing daily is so important. Because only then can you allow yourself to make mistakes, to practice things out, and to ask yourself, does that make sense? Is that right? Can I write better? And that is really important. Learn to write daily. Write with the end in mind. Whenever you're writing something, how many of you write LinkedIn posts? How many of you have written a LinkedIn post? Very few people. I got my first internship offer in first semester of college only because I wrote a LinkedIn post which people saw and they reached out to me that, hey Ishan, we saw that you wrote this LinkedIn post and we now want to know about how can you help us in our own. Okay, so that is really important. So you always need to write with the end in mind. What do you want people to feel? How do you want people to feel? Do you want them to feel inspired? Do you want them to feel scared? Do you want them to feel adventurous? Like what emotion do you want to target of people? And us hisab se you should write. Right? People just start writing without even thinking what is the ending. Right? Like what should the climax be? And that is really important. So you always need to write with the end in mind. How do you want them to feel? Ask that question even before you start writing anything. You are writing a message to someone who might hire you. Always think about how can you make sure that they trust you. You don't have to impress them. You just have to make sure that they trust you enough before anything and everything. And that is really crucial. Write less, express more. As I said, people write these long paragraphs. I have no interest in reading them. The easiest thing you could do is to write less but still express the same thing. And that is underrated. बहुत कम लोग कर पाते हैं ये. It's not a CBSE का paper in which you are just writing क्योंकि 5 नंबर का पेपर है and you have to write 2 more lines, तो आप कुछ भी लिख रहे हो. That's not life. That might work to get you more marks, but does not work in real life. Write 3 lines, but express everything that you want to in those 3 lines. Don't write paragraphs. Space everything out. It's so important. That is copywriting to you. Simple words, short sentences. ये बहुत important है, right? So you always need to write in the most simplest form that you can. You might have very good vocabulary, right? You might know कि इतने सारे words that you can use. You don't have to use them. You don't need to appear smart. मुझे बहुत कुछ आता है. You just need to convey the point. You just need to make sure that the person understands कि आपने बोलना क्या चाहते हो. Right? जो वो meme है 3 idiots, अरे बोलना क्या चाहते हो. Right? So you just have to have simple words and short sentences. No need to overcomplicate things. Let's keep moving. Write as if you're talking. ये बहुत important है. Have you ever used the word flabbergasted in your normal day-to-day conversation? You don't, right? You don't use that. So why do you write it? Just because you read it in some English literature chapter that you were reading doesn't mean that you use it in your day-to-day use. And because of that, you should not write it. When you are using it to send a message to someone, to communicate with someone over email. And so all of these things are really crucial. Make it very simple, to the point. Right? As if you're talking. Draft quickly, iterate later. Now, what happens is, when you have a blank sheet of Google Doc, you're staring at the sheet is staring back at you. You have no clue what to write. How do you start? And that is when the problem begins. Right? You just keep staring at the sheet, you don't know what to write, and you end up wasting hours and hours. You want to make sure that your पहली चीज लिखते हो that is perfect, but that is wrong. Your first draft is never perfect. You have to focus on just writing whatever you have in your mind. Do a brain dump. Whatever is in your head, just throw it out, vomit it out, and then iterate on that. Use those points and then iterate on that. The way I wrote my first book in just a week, it's a 90-page long book, was because I brain dumped everything that I wanted to talk about. And then I organized it, and then I wrote more underneath it, and then I created sections and chapters and subheadings, and that is how I came to be. You might think I'm bore kar raha hu, but this skill will take you to places you've never even imagined. All right. Storytelling, another very important skill. I can just keep talking about this for hours and hours, but you should learn how to create a good story for yourself, for everything that you will be doing. Your ability to create a story that connects with people is really important. जैसे मैं स्टार्टिंग में बोला राइट कि मैं पहले ऐसा था, so you all related with me now कि अच्छा ये भी ऐसा था, अब ये ऐसा हो गया. So that relatability factor is really important. So always focus on crafting a story which connects with people and gets them charged up for the climax. How many of you love Spider-Man? Right? There are so many characters, there are so many superheroes. Why do we love Spider-Man more than others? Because he is relatable. He has very similar real world problems. And so when the creator Stan Lee was creating it, everyone in the Marvel field or in the comic world was like, ये नहीं चलेगा. Right? They all had Batman, they had Superman, they had these crazy characters which people could not relate with, and that is what was working back then. But Stan Lee was thinking, what if we give this person, we make him a teenager and we give him a real world problem. Right? He's going through a crush that he has on a girl. He has to complete assignments. He has all these real world problems that people can relate with. And that is why it became this huge franchise. Not because of the cinematics, but just because it was relatable. And so that is the gist of a good story. You have to have relatability. You get inspiration, you read a lot. I did this habit of reading fiction. I was not the one who was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad at 18. Right? It's a good book, but I was not putting my time into that. I was reading books that would interest me. I would read Percy Jackson. I would read Game of Thrones, for example. I would read things which would interest me genuinely. and that developed this ability to imagine things. जब आप कुछ पढ़ते हो, right, especially when you read fantasy, when you read fiction, it creates this ability to imagine things, and that is really important if you want to write better, because then you will have clarity of thought, and then you can write better. Okay, as I just talked about, you have to master the hook. In fact, I want you to go and look at every LinkedIn post I've written on LinkedIn and just evaluate that. Every single post I've written has a hook at the start. If you would just read all of them, you would realize the pattern, what it takes for you to capture attention of people. Just look at the top two lines. I'm always optimizing for the top two lines and then thinking about what to write next. And that is how you master the hook. You create content, you send out emails, you would always need effective copywriting. Yes, hooks and copywriting. Okay, communicate. The next skill which I will talk about is speaking, right? As I said, speaking is a skill which I realized the importance of when I was in college as well. So I went to these clubs. आपके यहाँ भी clubs होंगे, right? I went to these club and societies and I saw that the coordinators of these clubs were people in 3rd and 4th year of college. And when it came to address an audience, they could not talk. They just could not speak properly. They were stammering, they were using fillers, they were just not communicating with confidence. And I was like, भाई अगर ये लोग 4 साल इस कॉलेज में रह करके यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं, do I want to do that? अगर ये लोग 4 साल से इस कॉलेज में हैं, they've had all the socializing, they've been in Goa, my college was in Brits Goa. So they've had all of that adulting, and yet they're not able to talk to a crowd. What a sham. And so this ability to communicate with confidence is really important. What you need to do is, you need to practice discomfort. How many of you have gone on dates in the last 6 months? How many of you have gone on dates? क्या बात कर रहे हो यार? You've not? Sheesh. Expected better from people in Bangalore. Anyways, the idea is to put yourself in positions of discomfort. What I mean by that is, when you meet a new person, you have to start a conversation. You have nothing about them. You don't know nothing about them. But then you start a conversation and you try to make sure that you sound interesting. And so this habit is really important. Even Kunal Shah was talking about this. Put yourself on the spot. Kunal Shah was talking about how people in India suck at sales and talking. Why? Because they go on less dates. That is him speaking, not me. So, very simple, right? Like, the idea is to go out there in places like this, when you have to give a talk, when you are in front of people, when you have to present, when you have to go on a date, anything it could be. But the idea is to get out there and talk to people. And that will just open you a lot more. So do that. This talk is sponsored by Bumble. It's not, I'm just kidding. Okay, alright. Avoid pillars. Just very few things that you need to take care of. Be very curious in the other person. Whenever I talk to people, I'm just really curious in the other person. The worst thing you could do if you want to start a conversation is to sound absorbed. Right? Like you're so self-absorbed in yourself that you forget to talk about the other person. Usko kya pasand hai? What journey has he or she been through? You just never talk about that. And that is the worst mistake that you can make. So that needs to change. Be very curious about the other person whenever you go in meetings, in parties, whenever you're meeting a person, and that will put you in a good spot. Speak slowly. This is something very important for people who stammer. I used to stammer a lot. And the only thing which helped me out is to have clarity in my own mind and this idea of communicating slowly. You might have seen that the best talks, जो होते हैं Toastmaster में होती हैं, TED में होती हैं, they're all speaking slowly. And that's also like a very alpha people thing to do. That you communicate with confidence and hence you talk slowly. You know that people are listening to you. You know that they are not leaving you. You know that they want to talk to you. So you communicate slowly. You take pauses. Okay, I hope you get that. Modulate your tone. Don't be that person who's in that same. How many of you have seen Big Bang Theory? Right? उसमें Leonard होता है. Who's the tall guy? Sheldon. Sheldon is the guy who's always speaking in the same tone. Right? It's very robotic tone, or even Raj Kutrapali. So all of these characters are like very stereotyped. But the idea I'm talking about is to modulate your voice. Right? Like when we talk to people, have that charisma, have that riz, जो वो लोग बोलते हैं, right? So you need to have that. So that will come when you do all of these things. When you modulate your voice, when you're generally interested in the other person, when you have humor. Right? Like humor is a byproduct of your intelligence. Like it tells that you are intelligent. Right? Like you can find humor in every situation possible. And that is an indication that you are intelligent. That's how it works. Facial expressions. So many of people that I meet, I do interviews, I'm hiring video editors, and they all have a very poker face. They'll always have this bitch face. And I'm like, when you're talking, when you are talking about something, have those expressions, right? Put a smile on your face. And that is really rare. Like I meet people in meetings and meetups and all, and they're all like very, तो बहुत sad होंगे, तो बहुत हंस रहे होंगे. Like you have to act according to the vibe of the place that you are in. And that's very, you might think कि बहुत छोटी चीजें हैं, but it all matters a lot. When you put all of this together, you will become a lot more interesting. People would want to talk to you because you have that attractive trait, right? जैसे दूर से देखे you can tell कि ये बंदा interesting है, इससे बात करनी है मेरे को. And that happens when you do all of these things combined. All right, your body language. You know, there was some research conducted which tells that about 70% of any talk is all about the body language, about how you are using your hands, gestures, what do you do, how do you portray yourself in front of people, and it is all about good body language. I've made a separate video on this, but I've noticed this thing that whenever I go to these events, people come to me and they're like, but they smell bad. People just smell bad. There's a very simple, cheap thing you can do. Mentos aati hai, right? Or there's a mouth freshener that you can have. That will instantly make you a lot more bearable, especially for the guys. Whenever you are in a meetup, just put that on. And that is just the basic thing you need to do. So that is the first thing. Other than that, I come to these events and people will come to me and they'll ask me this question. तो ईशान बताओ ये कैसे चल रहा है? And they'll have this very close body language like this. And I'm looking to them. उनके पैर इस तरफ होंगे, वो मुझसे ऐसे बात कर रहे होंगे, and I could immediately tell कि ये लोग interested नहीं है, right? ये बंदा मुझसे फोटो खींचने आया है, ये कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है ऐसे for the sake of asking a question, and they'll go. So I can tell if someone is genuinely interested in talking to me or not, just by the way they are showing themselves, their body language. The third skill you need to master is to have one hard skill. One skill which you can learn, which people can pay you for. Right? Like the skill to market, branding, digital marketing, influencer marketing, code, design. You all know what those skills are. I'm not going to talk about that. You already know what the skills are. But just pick one and master it. Be known for that one thing. Do not try to do 10 things at once. It's good to try it out, but pick one and become a master in that. I have not included networking in this, कि जाके लोगों से मिलो and all, because networking only happens when you have value, right? Like you have a network, every node has to have some value, right? Talking in the very nerdy terms. So when you develop that value, that I am a master at understanding YouTube strategy, just this very niche thing. When you have that skill, people will definitely want to come to you and talk to you. So you build value in yourself first with that hard skill, learn to write well, learn to communicate with confidence, and that's it. And then you become the king or the queen. Make sense? Alright, that is part 2. Part 3. Part 3. How many of you are tired? या थक गए हो सुन के? कोई नहीं? थक गए? कोई बात नहीं. We'll make it interesting. Let's keep going. The third part is your surroundings. Look around you and the people that you hang around with. I made this mistake as well. The people that you hang around with influence everything that you do. If you have 5 friends who smoke up, you're going to be the sixth one. If you have 5 friends who are into situationships and hookups, you will be the sixth one. Very simple. But the opposite is also true. When you have 5 friends who hit the gym, you will be the very simple. Makes sense, right? So find people who are climbing mountains. एक बहुत अच्छा quote है, right? Which was given by Zach. He's a creator on Instagram, and he talked about find people who are climbing mountains and then climb together with them. The best thing about my co-founder, who was my roommate from college, was because he was genuinely curious. He had the hunger, and our vibes just matched. So let's read this. Surround yourself with relentless humans, people who plan in decades but live in moments. Train like savages but create like artists. Be an artist. Obsess in work, relax in life. People who know this is finite and choose to play infinite games. Infinite games क्या होता है? You are with a friend and you are continuously working with him or her, right? You have this mission and you're just reworking on that every single time. Maybe they are into marketing, you're into design, and you're offering this as a bundled service. So you're playing an infinite game with them, and that is really crucial. I play an infinite game with my co-founder. We've been running it for 3 years, and it works amazingly well. Find people scaling mountains and climb together. Beautiful quote. And I want you to click a picture of this and look at it every single day and ask yourself, are my friends and my friend circle like this? Can you look at this and say, yes, I have those people? And you might tell me कि ऐसे लोग तो हैं ही नहीं मेरे कॉलेज में. Which means you need to go to blind dates. You need to go to events, meetups, meet people. Okay. All right. So the people you surround yourself with is really important. Okay. The fourth part is to become a learning machine. How many of you watch podcasts on YouTube? How many of you seen Nikhil Kamath wala podcast, WTF podcast? Right? Many of you have seen it. It's amazing, right? How many of you remember everything that you listen? Very few. Most of us are great at listening and even having ideas, but very poor at retaining them. And that's very important. मैंने इतने सारे podcasts और books को consume किया है, but I'm very poor at telling कि उसमें मैंने क्या सीखा था. And because of that, you need to become a learning machine. And at the start of the talk, we talked about building systems and not dreams. Don't just have dreams, build a system to accomplish that. So what is the system that will help you become a learning machine? Let's find that out. It's a 4-step process. Very simple. 4-step process. Let's start with that. The first one is all of your sources. Right? You're on Twitter, you're on LinkedIn, you're listening to a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. You're on YouTube, you're learning from videos, you watch my videos, you watch other videos, and you're having these ideas that you come across with. Right? Something someone said which clicks with you. Like, yaar, ye bahut badhiya baat boli isne. Right? You come across an idea. The next thing you do is that you store it. So there are 2 apps that I have recently used. The first one is My Mind. It's a simple app that you can get. And basically उसमें क्या होता है? You can literally share it on your My Mind. And when you do that, it stays there forever. And you can customize it and you can have that learning in that part itself on My Mind. And that is your knowledge base. So you're basically building a knowledge base where you can go and you can see what you learned from that video. Okay? That is really important. You can also use Notion. This is what My Mind looks like. It's free to use. Try it out if you are interested. You can basically store quotes, you can store links, you can store videos, anything, whatever you want to store in here. This is a very important concept. Do you know how to build a second brain? Have you heard of this? Ali Abdal को देखते हो? नहीं देखते? कोई बात नहीं. So the idea for a second brain is that you retain everything that you come across. And you do that with this method. Projects, areas, resources and archives. की photo ले लो. Because what happens is, We have so many note-taking apps. It's very easy to get confused and get lost. But this system called as PARA, the PARA method, helps you write everything that you want to and take care of your projects, your areas which you are interested in, the resources that you've come across, so the videos, the lectures, the codes, every link, and then the archive. You take care of all of that with this. So go out there, अभी बहुत लंबी talk हो गई है, but go on YouTube and just search about this. Building a second brain and watch a video around it by Ali Abdal हो गया या फिर Tom करके एक बंदा है उसकी किताब है Building a Second Brain. Go and watch that, you will learn more about that. But this is a para method, it's very important if you want to retain anything that you read. Okay, this is what a second brain looks like on Notion. How many of you use Notion? Yeah? Notion, I've been using it since 2019 and I have every single thing documented on that. Every person I meet, every experience I have, every learning I have is going in there. That enables me to keep track of everything that I'm doing. So get into this habit of writing. Again, you're writing and you are noticing everything and documenting it on Notion. So you are doing both the things at once. You get better at writing and you document everything that you're going through. All right, that is the second thing. The third thing is to revisit. Revisiting is very important because you are watching something, you wrote it down, but then it's very easy to forget. So get into this habit of revisiting what you've just written and creating actionables out of it. So you learned this one insight from a Nikhil Kamath podcast. What next? You turn that into an actionable. Let's say if he says that there's some idea that you got that you should read a book in the morning or you should try out this trick. So put that into your calendar. Kal subah main ye cheez karunga. I will try out this thing, and only then watching videos, learning from books, podcasts, quotes make sense. This is how you go from a YouTube video to documenting it and turning it into an actionable. Very simple. Okay, the last part, and then we are done with the talk. The last part is to manage your energy levels. How many of you think that you need to manage your time? You're all wrong. You need to manage your energy. I discovered that I am the most active from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock throughout the day. And you can have a different time frame. Maybe you work in the US time zone while living in India. Completely up to you. But find that time in which you have the highest energy. And just focus on that. What you will realize is managing time is overrated. Managing energy is underrated, because what you can do is you can do 10x more work when you're energetic, right? So it's not about finding कि मैं कौन से time किसी को कितना time दूँ. It's just about finding when am I active, when am I the most energetic, and when can I do this task. So think about that. That is really important, not your time. This is the worst calendar that you can have. What you're looking at is the worst calendar that you can have. And मेरा भी ऐसे calendar था when I was in college. Right? I had new things to do every hour. Every 30 minutes I was doing something or the other. Right? It was too much context switching. पहले मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, फिर मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, मैं यहाँ चला गया, मैं वहाँ पे खाना खाने चला गया, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ. It erodes your focus, your ability to sit at one place and genuinely focus. Seek truth. So what you can do is get rid of this and have a very simple calendar in which you allow yourself to be free as much as possible. Because the best thoughts that I get is in my boredom. When I allow myself to have boredom, जब मैं बस बैठा हुआ हूँ, I'm just looking at the wall. बस यही कर रहा हूँ 30 मिनट तक. It might sound weird, but that is how you will get the best ideas. Why do you think people get the best ideas when they are in a shower or when they are doing mundane activities? They are out for a walk. Because they are doing the same routine thing every single day. And that is when they get unique ideas. Because they allow their mind to be free. And that's how it works. Find when you're most active. How many? You're all on Instagram, right? if you want to genuinely do something good in life, you want to genuinely achieve 10x more than what you are today, this is possible. How many of you are on Instagram? All of you are there, right? सब लोग खड़े करो, ऐसे ऐसे नहीं, झूठ नहीं बोलना. You're all on Instagram. How many of you are making money on Instagram? Done. Delete. You might say कि यार मैं तो creator हूँ, मैं खुद क्यों बोल रहा हूँ ये? Right? It would be very easy for me to say कि you keep scrolling every single day, 6 घंटे scroll करो. But the idea is, Instagram offers you nothing but quick dopamine, quick fun. Like you can see something very quickly and you can be like, ठीक कुछ time pass हो गया. But what that is doing is, it is not allowing you to sit in boredom and have ideas for what you want to do with your life. So, delete it. Don't worry. You install it in 1 month. Try करना. 1 महीने के लिए delete कर दो Instagram. 1 महीने बाद you install it. You see the same person celebrating their birthday. You will see the same cute couple putting pictures in close friends. You will find the same, actor doing some random thing which catches the attention of people. Viral बियानी पे जाके वो viral हो जाएगा. So you will see the same things happening and you will not miss out on anything. Genuinely, I came on Instagram because I wanted to create content. Prior to January 2020, I was not on Instagram. I had no private account. I just did not know how it works. And that is really important to understand. To Instagram and to Mark Zuckerberg, you are nothing more than a line of code. When you're on the app and you're scrolling, this might sound rude, but you are nothing more than a line of code. You are just a data point that they show in their annual earnings call. From this user, from these millions of users in India watching these ads, we made billions of dollars, is what Mark Zuckerberg says. While you lost genuine time that you could have invested into upskilling, into your fitness, into just sitting in boredom. Outside of this app, you're an actual person. Your mom misses you. Call her up. You're an actual person who has interests, who has hobbies. You are more than a line of code. And the sooner you realize it, the better it will be for your life. Okay. As I said, believe me, you don't need it. It's a very fake way to give you some quick dopamine, right? There's a movie called as Kho Gaye Hum Kahan. It's a great movie, right? You might have seen it. And you'll see what happens that when Ananya Pandey gets dished by this guy, she's on Instagram and she's posing. And she's getting those reactions. Oh, that you look good, you look good, you look gorgeous, you look amazing. And she feels good about herself. But that is only in the short term. And that is so important for you to realize. That is what happens. Go outside, meet people. That's it. Thank you. That's all. That was the video. I hope you learned something from this. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe and click up picture, a screenshot, your learning and put it up on social and tag me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.